Hey, today we're going to be tying this pattern. It's called the Hood Rat. It's a mouse pattern, as you see. It's all artificial materials, mostly artificial materials, but it has this hood that you strip it through the water, and the water sucks in there, and it pops, and you can catch some real big fish. So this is the end product. To get there, you're going to need some materials. You need a hook, which this is a Dairiki size 2 1x strong standard length bass hook. See right there. We're also going to need some brown thin foam sheets to use as the side of the body. You see here they are. Mine are already pre-cut. Need some gray chenille for the tail and body, and then the yarn I'm using real thick yarn, Danville's 210 denier black yarn. The color yarn doesn't really matter, but it's nice to have a more natural color. Also, we're going to use a little bit of weight, some lead-free weight, and to finish it off, some Zap-A-Gap. So, as with all flies, we start from the back and move forward. This is going to be the head of the fly, but you have to secure all the materials in the back. So first, you put a nice layer of yarn down, and this is important because if you don't put a solid layer of yarn, the materials don't tie down very well because the hook is slippery. So you tie it down about a quarter way down the hook shank. I always give it back a little bit. See, it makes that nice kind of edgy texture. Then you bring it back and like that. Clean it up. Okay, so the first thing we're going to put on is the tail. Just start just like that, and this is not, it does not need to be fancy because nobody's going to see this, but you just secure the tail a little bit just like that. Bring it back down to the base. Trim off your extras. Next, we're going to put in the zonker strips, and it's important. You see I already have these pre-cut. They're about 1.5 inches, but you're going to want to face the hair to the hook shank because it's going to fold back like that. If you do it the other way, it's not going to work. So you pre-cut it. You see I have a little strip pre-cut there. Face that toward the hook shank. Okay. And then you secure it. And again, this does not need to be fancy at all because nobody's going to see this, but I always do 3 or 4 wraps to secure the material, tighten it, and then just finish it off so you get that excess out of there. So there's going to be 1 zonker strip on the side, and then the next one you do just like this, and secure it. And I realize right now that in my materials introduction I did not do the zonker strip, so a zonker strip is right here. It's actually chinchilla fur, but you can get these in bulk. There you go. So you secure that down on each side. Then next, you bring in your first skinny piece of foam. Put it on the side. This foam is kind of, get a couple wraps. Put it just on the bottom side of the hook. Then again, nobody's going to see this, so you just crank this down like that. Bring the other side, get it, you want these two to mirror each other. I usually do 1 or 2 wraps, get it where I want it. Get that third one, and then you can just tighten this down. So again, we're working from the back of the fly forward. So you got to kind of think front to back for these flies. And then you take the 1/2 inch piece and you secure it in there just like the rest of them. It's looking pretty meaty already, but it's all gonna get tightened down. So you just tighten that guy down, and just for my own knowledge, I like to make it a little bit even. Okay, so now all the materials are tied in from the back. You see it's a really skinny hook shank, so if you folded all these forward, it would be skinny. You see this fly has some bulk to it, just like a mouse has. So you can take any material you want, but I just take about 1.5 foot of that chenille, the same chenille I used for the tail. Tie it in there. This is just, again, to give that mouse a round body. Tie it forward, and then it's always key to stop, probably a centimeter or so before the eye of the hook, because you need that space to end your fly. You don't want to bring all the materials right up to the eye of the hook, or else things will get crammed in the end. So you just bring it down like that, and you just spin it around. So this is the point of where I'm just gonna fast forward. Alright, so now you see we have a little football shape right there. Bring it around, and then you finish it by putting 1, 2, 3 wraps around there, and just cut off this excess. And then, since this is the front of the fly, it's important you just give yourself a nice little foundation there to build off of. Tighten that, spin it forward. This is a nice big fly, so you don't need to worry at all about using too much material. I like to use a fly, catch more than one fish on a fly, so having excess material to make sure it's all in there is okay. Now, you take the zonker strip and you fold it forward, you see, so this is what's going to make the fly look really alive. You bring that, actually, you know what, I forgot the most important part of this fly, which is the weight. The weight's important because this is a big fly and there's all different types of things going on, that if you don't put a little bit of weight on the bottom of it, it won't ride in the water right side up. So I just have a little bit of weight, fold it over a couple times. Just going to take this and you just put it right on the bottom of the fly. This will help it ride the way you want it. And there's a lot of foam on this fly, so it floats pretty well, but you just wrap it around and nobody's going to see what's going on under here. So you just go like that, get it in there, come forward, and okay, back to that base. Bring the zonker strip forward, right on the side. You want that pretty tight right on the side. Bring it over and secure it. So this is why you want to leave some space in front of that eye, because if you don't, things can get really crowded. Clean it up. Bring the other side around. You see I'm bringing it between the foam pieces. Bring this guy forward. Hold it in there. Secure it. Make sure it's on the side. Alright. That looks pretty good. 3 wraps around, stacked on top of each other, almost always does the trick to secure it. But clean it up. Okay, and then I take a little bit of, just fold that down. I do like to clean this up a little bit just because this is what people are going to see. The fish are not that picky, but you like to have a little bit of cosmetics, make your fly look better if you can. Okay, then fold the foam forward, try to lift up some of that hair so it's kind of on the bottom of the fly, and you wrap once, make sure it's the way you want it, and secure that like that. Okay, then we're going to leave those there because we're going to fold them back. Take the other one, again you want it to mirror. Fold this guy, get it around like that. Okay. Is it too loud? How long do you know? Yep. No, you're good. It's recording. Take the top of the fly, fold it down. So you see it's all on top like that. There's the bottom. And kind of fold it over around it so it gets even. And there we go. 2, 3 to secure it. And since there's a lot of stuff going on here, I like to put a little bit of Zap-A-Gap on there just to secure that. Alright. Then we're going to fold these back a little bit, and you want just to give it a little bit of a shoulder. Not a whole lot, but enough that it'll pop a little bit in the water. Fold that. Okay, so you see there's just a little bit of a shoulder. Same side, or excuse me, the other side, you do the same tiny bit of shoulder. 1, 2, 3, and then the final piece of the puzzle is you just fold the hood back, and you can give it about half a centimeter or so for that water to get trapped under there and make the popping sensation that really disrupts the surface that the fish go crazy for. So there you go. And then you just clean it up. Make sure you don't cut your thread. And then the last part of this is put just a little more Zap-A-Gap on there to secure it. A couple wraps. 1, 2. And you want to make sure that your wraps are going through the same creases so it looks nice. 3. There is Zap-A-Gap on there, so you probably don't need to do this, but it's always good to whip finish your flies, even the really big ones. dig there. Finish it. Excess material out of there. Trim it. And this is the hood rat. You see there's the top, spinning around to the bottom. Can't see any of that excess. And then, well, I guess the final part. Might do a pretty long tail, but not this long. I would trim it maybe just about right there. And there you go. That's the hood rat.